All right. How's everybody doing? All right. So we all know that the universe works with certain laws, okay, to manifest. So you all heard of it. Law of attraction, law of assumption, law of this, law of that. But let me share a law with you that is a universal law that comprises all of these laws. And then once you start to practice this law, you will see greatest results in your manifestation. Your things will start coming true. And I like to call this law watch from behind the scenes, but it's really called the law of expectation. You're doing it right now. Think about this. How many times you've expected something good or something bad to happen? And guess what? It usually does. But I'm going to get deeper than you. When you expect something good, that doesn't usually happen, right? But when you expect something bad, that always happens. So why do I expect the good but it doesn't happen? Why do I expect the bad and it happens? Well, you are unconsciously using that law of expecting. And I'm going to show you why it happens when bad and not good. So here's what happens. It all has to do with the way your brain processes information or the reality around you. You see, our brains, when we learn something, there are little cells and they wire together. They stick like this. They're called neurites, dendrites, synapses, axons, and they all just come together and they create new pathways. Once they form, that's it. They stay there. Since you were a little kid, you have been exposed to a lot of negative stuff. So you see like bad stuff happen. You see tough times with your parents, money issues, all this. So your brain, whoops, wired to always expect the bad. This is why when you expect the bad, it manifests a lot faster because the brain is synaptically pruned to do that. But yet, the law is still there. You expect it, you get it. So how can I switch that to expecting good stuff? Well, we're going to have to rewire the brain. How do I rewire the brain? First step to rewiring the brain is to start to be an optimistic person. Start to look at the glass half full instead of half empty. You will begin the process to rewire. What happens to those old pathways is they don't break down. What happens like a highway? The brain just leaves them and create new pathways. So the way your brain works is when you create new neural pathways, the old ones, they just don't fizzle out. They just stop working. Like it's under construction. Nobody goes on that road anymore. It just creates a new road, a new map. So your brain likes to work more efficiently. And once you start to do that, now you're entangled with the universe. You see, the law of expectation goes as follows. You will always get what you expect sooner or later. If you want to get it sooner, you practice being optimistic. You want to get it later, you're going to go up and down. So watch from behind the scenes. Now, what do I mean by watch from behind the scenes? Look, so whenever I'm creating something or anything I want in my life, I will project it out, right? And then I expect it. And then I watch from behind the scenes. So for me, it's pretending like I'm shooting a movie. I'm the director and I'm the actor and all this at the same time, which you are. So I'm filming my movie. I'm the director. And as I film the movie, I go in the movie. Okay? And then, okay, I'm playing my part. Once I'm playing the part, I jump back out and I watch my movie unfold from behind the scenes. Because I'm the director, I already know everything I directed my movie to do because I'm expecting it. So what I do, I just go behind the scenes and let it run automatically. See, that makes the law of expectation work. When you can project what you want and then you expect it to come about and then just watch it from behind the scenes like this. Just like I'm observing, okay, I'm seeing that. But here's the issue though, and this is what we have to stop doing. People, what they do is they try to go in their own movie and try to control the movie. You don't need to control your movie. Your movie is already written. You did it. You're the programmer. You have a higher mind. It's called the subconscious, which works to even a higher part of you called the authentic or higher self. So if you start to learn to just watch from behind the scenes. So what do I mean watch from behind the scenes? Basically means I'm just going with the flow. I'm just watching. Whatever happens, I don't determine it as good or bad. I just determine it as is. This is just happening. And then I change my perception towards it. What you're doing two things. You're actually changing the fabric of space-time. That's correct. you're influencing reality. Your brain is perceiving new dimensions. Your brain now is creating new cells. It's called synaptic pruning, which leads to the, well, first is neuroplasticity. The neuroplasticity is what leads to synaptic pruning. And then what happens after that now, that reality becomes the new reality. So you have to understand, guys, what we truly are. We are not a physical specimen. All this, it looks like a bunch of flesh, but we're actually electrochemical magnetic beings. We are energy of light. You know that your heart radiates a frequency, an electromagnetic field 6 feet beyond. That means anyone around you can feel you and can feel what your feelings are. People can actually feel you. If you go to someone they're 6 feet away, they can feel your energy unconsciously. So we communicate. That's just the heart. Let's talk about the brain. What about your gut? Did you know your gut also sends signals, right? Your gut, your brain, your heart. We're transmitting. We're transmitters to the universe. And the number one way we communicate to the universe is with our imagination and our thought energy and our unconscious thoughts. So if you start to expect that this is going to manifest for you, it must manifest, because we can go back to the fundamental laws of physics, which one of them is called entanglement. In entanglement, nothing is separate from anything. Basically it's an illusion. So whatever I desire, I already have it as a particle or a wave that is meshed with me. That's laws of physics. So what do? Okay, here's what prevents me from getting it. It's my frontal lobe. It's my ego. My ego is the bridge between me and my desires. My ego is that guy that stops and messes me up, because my ego has no understanding of a higher level of awareness or how the universe works. My ego is primarily developed as for survival. It has no concept of what true time is. As a matter of fact, your ego makes up time to make sense to us. It makes a future and a past which doesn't exist. It's right now. It has no conceptual reality of time. It has no conceptual reality of how to get information that you want, because it's limited. You process about 19 to 20,000 thoughts per day, about 10%. The other part of my consciousness, which is my higher mind, which is my subconscious, that has all the abilities to do that. And with the mind, we can understand, we can understand how the universe works, but yet we have to implement. You see, it's not about just understanding, it's about implementing information. A lot of people, what they do, they can understand the information, but no one ever implements the information. They can sit here and tell you how everything works, but they cannot tell you how to experience it or to do it in a certain particular way. That's because of the ego. The ego likes to gather stuff. So with entanglement, it says that I am that is me, and we are all the same. So I can get anything I desire. So what I do now, I train my brain through plasticity, through neuroplasticity, through synaptic pruning. I do that by I expect what I want, and then I just have this feeling. There it is, a feeling that I'm going to get it. And that's really easy to cultivate. So if you want to build, so some people may say, well, man, I don't know how to expect like the big stuff, man. I always expect the bad stuff. How can I expect the big stuff? So here's a tip for you. If you want to expect the big stuff, you got to start to impress the subconscious mind. So you can use pictures. You can use images. You can use other people's stories. You can use other people's inspiration. I'm sure there's somebody out there that has got what you've gotten. Whether they want to be, if you want to win the lottery, well, here it is. Look at me. I've done it a lot of times. You can use my inspiration. You can go to Cynthia Stafford. You can go to Shane Music. There's so many people. Timothy Schultz. Okay, if you want to learn business, there's someone out there doing business, real estate. There are all these people out there that have done what you want to do. So if you want to program or plasticize your brain to have that, watch them. When you watch them, now the brain accepts that this is true. The thing about the brain is, guys, the brain loves evidence. If you can give your brain evidence that it's possible, you're 50% there. Did you know that? Did you know that? If you can show your brain evidence, people don't understand this. If you can go to YouTube, TikTok, anything, and watch someone that's doing what you're doing and say, oh, that guy did it, that girl can do it. Guess what your brain says? If they can do it, we can do it. Right? So go. Now look, there's some people here, they don't understand how this stuff works. So someone may be here like, who's this guy at? Someone says, stop lying, bro. Now let me show you how these people mind work. There's a thing called cognitive dissonance. And it's a brain again. People can condition their own minds to see what they want to see. They don't understand that reality is subjective. So if someone said, oh man, bro, stop lying, bro, this doesn't work. Guess what they're doing? They are plasticized their own brains to see the frequency of not working. What these people don't understand, guys, is that reality is infinite. They don't understand the system of how quantum mechanics work and how you work. That there is two. We have objective and subjective worlds, people. A subjective world is what we made up. I could prove it to you right now. If you get two people, stand them together, put them side by side, and give them the same experience, and put them in the same, go take them to the bar, put them in the bar, two people next to them, and then after the bar, bring them out. Although they're in the same place, the same time, the same thing, they'll both have a different experience because they are individualized and they have subjective minds. Voila! So the lesson is, yeah, it doesn't work if you don't believe it. And guess what? Yeah, it does work if you believe it. So technically, you're right and you're wrong. So if you want to get on the side to create or manifest your life the way you want, then you best start being an optimistic person, because then you're pruning your brain for that. Look, people, I will repeat this again. You're going to get what you expect somewhere down the line. Point blank. The reason why that happens, because you're tapping into a subconscious program. Even though you're consciously seeing and thinking, your subconscious is actively seeking and manifesting. So we manifest through our emotions and our feelings. When I expect something to happen for me, it's always going to be followed by some type of energy or emotion. Point blank. That is the code, or I call it the codex, to my unconscious, subconscious mind. So if I'm a person and every day I'm always thinking about the worst and I'm this, that's what I'm going to start to experience sooner or later, because my subconscious knows no other way. But now, if I said one day I'm fed up of this, I'm like, man, you know what? This stuff ain't working because I'm only getting what I don't want. Let me just try and see if I can focus on what I do want. Even though my mind is going to resist, because your mind doesn't like to change. Even if you're having a negative life or negative stuff, your mind doesn't like change. That's showing how your mind works. So your mind don't really care about your happiness or care about you. It just cares about keeping a routine. Think of that's deep right there. Repeat that again. Even if you're in a negative situation and you want to change and you want to do better for your life, your mind will like to keep you in the negative situation, because the mind is primitive and it doesn't like change. Just let that sink in. So you have to do work. Anyway, so I said, okay, you know what? Let me decide to become more positive. Let me try what this glass half full thing and see what happens. And first of all, you might have to force yourself, which is okay. You can force it because the subconscious is illogical. Anyway, let's say I start doing that. After 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, after 1 month. I mean, even after 2 weeks, I'll start to see little changes. And that's because inside my brain, I am rewiring. I'm creating new neural pathways. You can't see it happening, but it's happening because we know it's happening. And then if I start doing that, then I find myself more positive. I find myself more optimistic. Then a little positive stuff come in. I was like, yo, this stuff might be working. I continue to do it. Let's say I do it for 1, 2, 3. In about 5 to 6 months, I've manifested more than I ever manifested in the past 5 to 10 years. Because I've changed the thinking and the behaviors of my mind. Anything, health, wealth. Start whatever you want. Health, wealth, all that. Your health is the most important in my opinion, because health leads to wealth. So the law of expectation is so simple that you want to know how to apply the law of expectation? Show you how easy it is, that you can do it right now, even if you have a crazy messed up life. It's very simple. All you have to do is sit back like this and then decide on whatever you want. Okay, you already know what you don't want, so just reverse the opposite of that. So now you know, everyone knows what they don't want. So now just figure out what you do want. Once you decide whatever it is you want, stick with it, don't change. So okay, so we got that. So I decided what I want. The next thing I do, I will think about what I want. I may visualize what I want. I may write down what I want. I may affirm out what I want. And then when I did do that, then I expect that what I want must come to me. That's all I do. So what is expectation like? Expectation for me is like knowing it's going to happen without needing to know how or when it's going to happen. No one is going to happen without needing to know when or how. So let me give you a very simple analogy of expectation that we all do every night. And this is the mindset, and this is how you can use the law of expectation. So every day when you go to your bed, the sun goes down, the moon comes up, right? Does anybody ever go to bed and when they look out their window, they're like, gosh, man, I sure hope to God that the sun comes up tomorrow? No, no one ever does that. They automatically expect that the sun will automatically come up. They don't even think about it. They just go to bed and they wake up in the morning, the sun's there. That's the law of expectation. That's how you treat it with your manifestation. You just know it's like supposed to happen. It's like a natural thing. There's about a 99% chance that every morning you go to bed, the sun will open. The reason why it's not a 100% chance, because there's a 1% chance that the sun could disintegrate. Who knows? And it'll be 8 minutes before you realize the sun is gone, but that's 1% chance. But there's a 99% chance. So if you're going to work the numbers, 99% is actually foolproof. And it's the same way you manifest. Right? Now you understand how it works. That's the law of expectation. So once you get that, then you can jump to behind the scenes. Because when you expect something now, you can get into the flow state. That's when you can start to just chill like this, just like watch your thing going on. And then when you're in that brings you into a flow state. Now that's where you're going to get more information. You're going to see stuff and hear stuff and manifest and just get more knowledge that you never had before, because you don't have the resistance from the mind, from the ego. There's no resistance now, because the mind can't come in and try to make you do this or do that, because now you told the mind that everything I'm perceiving is neutral. I don't have any attachment to that, right? Yes, the moon is out during the day, the moon is out during the night, but guys, we don't have to go super technical. You know what I mean by that. I mean, the whole point of this is to show you that, yes, you go to bed at night, and you know, when you go to bed, the sun must come up in the morning, okay? So you don't have to get technical. The moon, yeah, we technically know the moon is there 24/7, 3, okay? But the point is, it's just a point to teach you and show you how to practice the law of expectation. Okay? Declassify your pineal gland. Okay, and that's a lot of expectation. But let me touch on something else about spirituality. Look, the truth of the matter is this, okay? The universe is going to choose people when to awaken. There are some individuals that are not mentally strong to be awakened as yet, and that's fine, because they cannot handle the truth. They cannot handle seeing other dimensions. They cannot handle seeing the matrix, how it treats people. They cannot handle that their life is supposed to be good all the time. These people their minds are not ready, and that's fine. So if you're someone that the universe has chosen, as a matter of fact, if you're watching this video, the universe has chosen you, because this will only show up to people who are in the same vibration. So you don't have any issues to do that. But if you're someone that means you're mentally strong and mentally able. Unfortunately, there are some people that may never be able to get awakened, and they have to stay in the matrix, and that's because their minds aren't mentally strong. They could go crazy, they could get into very depressive states, they could hallucinate because they're mentally not strong. But for you, whoever sees this, you are fine. That's why it's called the chosen ones. So eventually everyone may wake up, but that's just how it works, and that's fine. The universe is a self-correcting code, right? But the good thing for you is, if you're watching this, you're one of those individuals that can take your life to the next level. Okay, that's what I want to leave you with today, and I'll see you again.